Perfect. So, hi, Caio. Thanks for joining me to the NT podcast. You are our very first guest here. So, as I mentioned, we want to really be straight to the point and no BS whatsoever. So, tell me maybe to start your background in one sentence.
I am a product designer and also a community manager. I help companies and people to get into the chatbot space.
What would you say is your like worst experience in chatbot and why?
My worst experience with chatbots are basically when we need to keep context and have like a fully conversation. Sometimes I would like to appoint something, create an event in my agenda on Google. And in the way that I speak Portuguese, sometimes Google loses the context. And the funny thing is that it not only loses the context, but I also keep in a loop, so I cannot cancel the conversation. So I need to turn it off. And yeah, I have facing so many interesting and not so great experiences when it comes to conversational UI. Coming from the product view or like the design view, one day I designed a bot for a huge conference down here. It's called Rock in Rio. It's a rock festival, huge in Brazil. And then the bot was supposed to help folks in the space and help everybody with insight, like with information about the space, the concerts and everything. And then one day, one disabled person, like using like a wheelchair, this person asked for help, and the way that she asked was kind of angry. And the bot was supposed to be happy and friendly and all that kind, but the way that I read the message was just like, oh my gosh, that's so bad. I shouldn't say, the bot shouldn't say that things in that friendly way. So context is definitely something that is really complicated for bots, and to not only to hold context, but also to understand. So I think it's part of our job to trying to be at the same time generic with like a broader answer, but also to help whoever is needing something in particular. So my worst experiences are related to context, pretty much.
Because that bot was in Portuguese, or what language was that bot in?
It was in Portuguese. Just giving you like a more context on that. So this person was supposed to go to a particular space. So someone from the staff would go there and pick this person and take this person to the main arena to watch the concert. And she was waiting there for like 2 hours. Wow. And the only way for her to talk to someone was throughout the chatbot. And she went there, asked for help. No one said anything besides the bot. And then she sent like a long text complaining about like, what are you doing? Like, I'm here, I'm alone, I'm in danger, I need help. And she was cussing a lot because she was really angry. And the bot was just like, I think someone is kind of mad. Let me help you. Give me a hug. And it was trying to be friendly, but the context was really not right for that answer. And that's an industry problem, though. Whatever we say, sometimes we are in a context. The bot, when it was made, was in a different context. And that's a struggle for everybody, I would say. And that's why whenever we are designing like a conversational experience, we need to have a better or a bigger picture about the context that the bot is going to be use it. And because we never know what people are going to say. Portuguese is a really tricky language, and sometimes just changing the order of some things, it can change the entire meaning. And sometimes we are not there with the person, so we don't know what the person is actually talking about. And this particular experience, which was kind of following the bot on production, checking out the errors and things like that. That was, for me, I was kind of upset with the situation because the bots answered right in a sense, but the context was kind of wrong. It wasn't like a good experience.
It wasn't helping the clients to get the information they really need.
Yes. So it's part of
Okay,
it
moving to
happens.
the next point then. So how do you think is the whole COVID-19 thing impacting the chatbot industry?
Mm. So taking out all the bad stuff from the COVID situation, health problems, family folks, mental health, everything. The COVID situation is really great for chatbots because many companies are moving to a digital space. Some of them are creating websites, some others are creating apps and things like that. But there is one thing though that anyone needs to do is talk to someone. And most people, they don't want to go to a website. They want to talk to someone right away. And companies now have the opportunity to scale up that conversation and either help or provide guidance to the right way to the person solve a problem. Or the companies can use the chatbots as a tool for talking to its customers. Some platforms, they offer the customer services, like there is a chat, anyone can go there and talk. But some others, they don't have that, like WhatsApp app, business app. If a business needs to use that, there is no official solution for that. So the company needs to go to a WhatsApp solution provider and use any kind of platform that is going to help them. So it's a good moment. Many people want to help or to talk to someone to have access to support or something like that. And the companies need to scale up the conversation with its clients. So it's an opportunity for not only scaling platforms, but also consultancy if someone is working with that. Down here in Brazil, we noticed that there are some industry that is not only increasing the number, but actually doubling the size of the number of bots and also the number of conversations that they're having with the clients. Companies down here, every provider, most of them, they noticed like an increase of demand for providers to develop conversational experiences in that sense. But like Chatbot is a digital product. Everyone that is in a digital space, it's need to adjust themselves to this particular moment. But for chatbots, in a sense, it's an opportunity to advocate for the solution. As I said, like everyone wants to talk to someone, feel welcome, have the feeling that it's talking to a real person. I know that creating this feeling is not so easy, but having a chat that is going to help folks to just to say whatever they want to say, it's a good thing. And if you can create your product or integrate your chatbot with different solutions, that can be really helpful for any company or businesses.
So it seems for you like the COVID-19 is really helping the industry to growing demand and accelerating the adoption of business using bots. But what do you see as like the main challenge the chatbot as an industry is facing?
I would like to add in the previous question that COVID is an opportunity for emerging countries like Brazil, developing economies to digitalize itself. Just to give you like an example, down here, the government is trying to support the poor population. And the COVID helped Brazil to digitalize bank. I don't know how to say that, but some people down here, they don't exist. They're invisible. They don't have social security number, nothing. They're here, but we don't know about them. The government doesn't know. And they don't have access to credit. They don't have access to bank. They just live in informal things. The COVID situation helped the government to digitalize about 45 million of Brazilians. That's about it's about 1/4 of the Brazilian population.
Wow,
so
that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's not only chatbot per se, it's everything. It's becoming digital. And another example down here, the health minister is going to use a IVR solution to call Brazilians to check them if they have the symptoms. If someone say like, yeah, I kind of have the symptom, the conversational experience is going to be following up with this person to see if this person is doing well or not. So yeah, down here, not only in Brazil, but emerging countries as a whole, chatbots is a great opportunity to make information to be accessible, not only in the channel way, but also in the way that we read the information. So it's going to be great. So
Really?
coming back to your new question, can you remember me?
Yeah. So the question was, what are some of the challenges you see the chatbot as an industry is facing
Right now or as a whole?
as a whole?
As a whole? Yeah, so I think that as companies are starting to be more digital, there is a digital challenge over there. When I say digital, it's not only companies becoming digital, but there is a culture of people understanding the tools, what they can do with these particular tools, what are the things that they can leverage, and even the companies that wants to be digital but doesn't know how, and they want to create a chatbot that can sell whatever, but there is no integration to do the sales per se.
Mm-hmm.
So the challenge is going together with the digital transformation trend. And any provider that wants to have a new client, this provider needs to help the clients to develop and to create the chatbot as a whole per se. When it comes to the strategy and product per se, there are many things to face. We're not in the hype that we used to be like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But people still don't get it. What is a chatbot? Is it a cognitive services? Is it like an AI? Can I use it to do whatever at my house? It's a challenge to educate people about that and to show them that chatbots is just a tool. They can use it in the right way, in the bad way. There are some good practices, and there are some things, small things that sometimes is not about technology, is about human interactions, like conversations, content, writing, language. And most of the times, the providers need to have this sort of knowledge to help the clients about that. So if the provider doesn't allocate its clients, probably this company is going to face some misalignment with expectations in whatever they're trying to deploy. Mm-hmm. And it's a trend. We're still living in a trend. We're still learning the industry as a whole. We have like the chatbots as we know in the market today, like the messenger things and etc. Mm-hmm. Has been about like 4 years. We haven't seen like a killer bot that's pushed all the other bots. So today I think that companies are starting to realize that, oh, okay, I cannot have like a cognitive service, but I can have a tool that helps me to engage with 40% of my clients, and I can focus my activities on the 60. So the 40% is solved. What about the 60? Is there something that I can do that I can automate the conversation with the 60% that I can just talk to 10%? And when I say that, I'm not saying like, hey, chatbots needs to take conversations from humans, is going to take someone's job or something like that. It's not about that. It's a tool that helps people to communicate better, to automate whatever they're trying to deliver in information. If we can just help folks to just work in whatever they need to work on, think, that's a great tool. If we can use a chatbot just to automate quick answers, entries that many questions that folks have anytime, just to have a bot that can deal with that, and then I can focus on whoever have a more complex problem. That's something that we can do. So in a sense, in the client perspective, they need to first digitalize themselves. That's not their fault. It's a process. Everybody's on this trend. We need to help them with that. In the solution providers, there's our job as a provider to deliver like a great solution, but also as an educator, and a facilitator to help the other parts to understand the best practices, what is this tool, and how they can leverage their businesses using this particular conversational experience, I would say.
Excellent. So look, Caio, because we are doing an anti-podcast, right now we are already passing like the 10-minute initial time, but I think we can maybe have 1 more minute. So let's go for the last question. I need to to be very brief about it, and let's see if we can do that. Okay. So the last question is like, can you provide an contrarian opinion about the future of chatbot and what do you see will happen?
Yeah, so there are some people that says that chatbot is the future, is going to be the medium for everything, and is going to solve all problems, I would say. But honestly, I don't think that the chatbot is going to be the experience. Okay. It's going to be the way, the solution. I think that chatbot, in a sense, is going to be more the way to the solution. It's going to facilitate entries to the particular solution. So today, most of the bots, they're not integrated. They don't do many transactions and things like that. They're just like a way for other mediums. And there's the idea of multi-modals conversations, and also the idea of omni-channel as well. So I think the chatbot is going to be the way, not the way, the solution itself. It's going to be the way to the solution. And it's part of our job to create that way.
Brilliant. Awesome. So I think we have covered everything I wanted to ask. Really appreciate your contribution. We will share the content soon with the rest of the audience.
Yeah, sure. If there is some